William Hurd Kilpatrick was born to James Hines Kilpatrick and Edna Perrin Hurd Kilpatrick in White Plains, Georgia on November 20, 1871. He completed his early education in the local school system and enrolled at age 17 at Mercer University in Georgia. The school was a Baptist institution, and Kilpatrick's grandfather was among the founders and original trustees. Kilpatrick graduated second in his class in 1891 and then went to Johns Hopkins University and completed a year of graduate study in mathematics. Later that year, he returned to Mercer University and received a master's degree in 1892 for his work at Hopkins. Kilpatrick then became a principal for a public school in Georgia, but soon returned to Mercer and served as Mercer's acting president. However, he had doctrinal differences with authorities there and resigned. During these times, Kilpatrick married Marie Beeman Guyton on December 27, 1898. They had 3 children, however, 2 died in infancy. In 1908, Kilpatrick went to Teachers College, Columbia University, and began doctrinal studies. While there, John Dewey was one of his major professors and referred to Kilpatrick as one of the best students he ever had. Kilpatrick eventually attained a full-time teaching position in the philosophy of education, which he held from 1912 to 1937. Kilpatrick's career at Teachers College came to a close when Dean William Russell decided to enforce the mandatory retirement age, but Kilpatrick lived another 30 years, during which he led the New York Urban League, the Progressive Education Association, and the John Dewey Society. He continued to write and speak, as he also taught summer school classes at Stanford, Northwestern, and Minnesota. His involvedness caused him to be in conflict with major controversies and within ranks of influential liberals during post-World War II America. Kilpatrick's major contributions to education are supportive of John Dewey's educational philosophy. Dewey emphasized the need to learn by doing and pushed for a hands-on approach. As stated by StateUniversity.com about Kilpatrick, drawing on Dewey's earlier work, interest, and effort, he attempted to demonstrate how students could engage in purposeful activity at the intellectual, physical, and active levels. Kilpatrick supported Dewey's educational model and expanded it with his own ideas. The key tenets of progressive curriculum: 1. The curriculum, which begins with children's natural interests, gradually prepares them to assume more socially responsible roles. 2. Learning is most effective if it addresses students' purposes and concerns. 3. Students learn to become worthy members of society by actively participating in socially useful work. 4. The curriculum should teach students to think intelligently and independently. 5. The curriculum should be planned jointly by teachers and students. And 6. Students learn best what they practice and live. This is important considering that knowing facts and knowing how to apply and use them are 2 very different things. These methods are quite different than those practiced before this philosophy was introduced. Kilpatrick saw the importance of these methods and worked to make them known and applied. These methods would now require active learning. The importance of these methods is huge. Outside of school and class, even inside of them, we as people are social and always want to be part of society. The philosophy is one that focuses on what will be useful in life and prepares children and students to be part of society. The material focused on are things that will be important, and the material is learned by using it and applying it. Material that is inapplicable to a student's life is useless and does the student no good in learning it. Kilpatrick's philosophy has impacted my learning dramatically. When his philosophy is practiced, the emphasis is on learning to think and not focused on what to think. All through elementary school, I was taught in this manner. I was given many projects and presentations. Many years, I also had a writer's workshop where we were encouraged to write, and it could be anything. We could make up our own stories or write off of research or write poetry. I personally really enjoyed this, and it sparked a desire to write, which made other directed writing assignments interesting and something I was much more willing to do. As I moved into middle and high school, I have had a variety of teaching methods, many of which were simply lecture and test. I noticed that when there was no application and learning on my part, I did not take much from the class. Maybe I learned some formulas or ideas, but it was unclear to me how to use them or what their use even were. I remember a specific teacher I had for math. He applied Kilpatrick's methods and made the material applicable for us as the students. In that class, our teacher helped us with guided discovery. We figured out the formulas from previous knowledge and were taught how to make connections. And then we were given circumstances when we would actually use the math in our lives outside of that class. Needless to say, these methods have impacted me, and for me personally, this is the best way I learn. I agree with Kilpatrick's philosophy and see the value in it. There are times when a more traditional setting may be useful, but I don't see that there is mastery of material until it is actively